Professor Unwin, you must have heard many big bands in your time. How do you rate the Count Basie Orchestra that we've just been listening to?
Well, I rate this very high indeed. You see, it's the Neil Hefti arrange mode which gives a democracy. When I say that, may I qualify it?
Do, indeed, yes.
Well, the equal featuring of brass and the saxophone in its own rhythm, with Frank West, which you know gave that very fine Wood Willie on the flute of Simbrant tones for it, and Joe Newman's trumpet, and I very found there was a great harmony contemplators which came through. Yes. That's a tone theory.
Most profound, yes. Carry on.
Well, and then, of course, Count Basie's own Tritley Fine of the Ivory. Real Huffaloed out of the ivory, which gave for the end product of a deep joy in the ear of the beholder for musée. And then, of course, then there was the great concert, the Festival Hormones. And, in fact, the whole length or breadth of the UK, this thing is manifold. Oh, definitely.
Yes, we're in agreement on this, evidently. Well, I think it's time we had something traditional, the definitive performance of Muskrat Ramble.
Ah, the nostalgia of that, with those river boats and the sloshing against the bows on the Mississippi there. Oh, joy. And the bayous down on that levee which were waiting for the Robert E. Leader, as you know, the great rhythmical of that. And you know, the multi-genius which gave together for Buddy Bolden, Bunky Johnson, Stevin Chale...
Yeah, well, look, just a moment, Professor. You realise that was Louis Armstrong we just heard, do you?
Ah, oh, yes. Well, it's such a movie thing in this Louis Armstrong's pales in the background of his great fame. Oh, yes. Well, you see, Kid Ory with his trombone and slidey. You remember the great Ory's Creole trombone, which...
Indeed, yes.
And Johnny Dodds, the clarinet of Woodwillie again there, and its lovely Simbrant tone. And, of course, the accompaniment which Lil Armstrong did to gather and bolster the whole huff there with Louis.
Yes, Louis's wife. Can you tell us, by the way, how Louis got his nickname, Satchmo or Satchel Mouth?
Yes, the origin of that is this. We're the pouty lips of that, and today we have the co-relayed insofar Zep Fastener, which is sluffing Huffalo down anybody's mouth, in his mouth, which he could crintle to blow it of a hair for a fine trumpy blow. His instrument, you see, was couched for the lips of the fame, which he gave the first high seal and follop and carve and cutty everybody up Huffalo down to the bistros.
Hence Satchmo. Do you play an instrument yourself, Professor?
Well, I am the scrapit and violin catguddy. Not so far as Stradivar or Ganario or anything like that, but my bow is an ordinary horsehair stringit in a way. Myself, I do a triddly-how on the Paganini. Now, Arco, as you know, is scrapit and bow, while Pizzicode is pluck it and pluck it with the strings.
You're getting a little technical now, Professor. You must be careful. Have you a favourite jazz violinist, though?
Well, yes, Ray Nance, you see, who, as you know, does a doubly huff with the trumpet and the violin with Duke Ellington.
Yes. Duke Ellington's C Jam Blues. Well, now I think it's time for a modern record. How about Dave Brubeck? You enjoy his work, Professor?
Paulie Desmond and Joe Morelli Hocus. There's the two of them in the quartet, Eugene Wright, and this wonderful quartet really is a joy for the heart to be Hocus.
How about those complex rhythms of Dave's? Do you Are you with them?
The complex, yes, of these rhythms. You see, it's so refreshing to see something which is a fundamental of, say, we say a 3 against 4D, 4 against the Fido. You see, Bach himself, who was a master of the contrapuntal podal of this, gave forth for a great aesthetic there for music. So that's where there's, don't you agree?
I do indeed. I'm most pleased to hear it put with such clarity. Well, I'm sure Dave will be fascinated to hear that brilliant analysis of his work. In fact, I'm going to make sure he does hear it. Well, this record is of Basin Street Blues. It's from an album not yet released in this country.